The photograph. He found the photograph by accident. It slipped out from a stack of receipts when he was clearing the desk, a corner of faded gloss catching the light. He almost put it aside, but something about the angle, the dull gleam of it, made him pause. Two figures stood in the frame, him and her. The colors had bled a little over time, the edges of their smiles softening, the background fading into that sun-washed blur that makes old pictures feel like half-remembered dreams. She was looking at him, not at the camera, at him. The kind of look that only happens when someone hasn't learned how to hide affection yet. He traced her outline with his thumb. The print was scratched. A faint crease ran down her cheek. He tried flattening it gently against the desk, as though that could undo the years that folded themselves into that single line. It had been taken near the lake. He remembered now. How she had complained about the wind. How she pretended to be annoyed, but couldn't hide the laugh breaking through. He remembered the way the light hit her hair, the reflection in the water, how the camera almost didn't catch her right before she turned away. He remembered everything except the exact sound of her voice. That was gone, dissolved somewhere between time and distance. He wondered when he had stopped looking at the photograph. It had once lived pinned on the wall, then in a drawer, then tucked inside a book, and finally, buried beneath invoices and unpaid bills. Maybe he stopped because looking hurt. Or maybe because he started to fear that one day, the picture wouldn't hurt at all. He held it closer, the faint smell of paper and dust, the way the light trembled over the gloss as if trying to wake something within it. He thought about taking a new photo, something fresh, alive, unburdened. But no one stands that close anymore. No one looks at him the way she did in this frozen second of another life. There's a strange cruelty to photographs. They promise preservation, to hold a moment beyond decay, but all they really do is remind you of what time had already taken. They trap the version of you that believed things wouldn't fall apart, and when you look long enough, you can almost feel the fractured line between who you were and who you became. He set the photograph back on the desk. For a moment, it caught the dying light from the window, her face illuminated, as if the day itself wanted to see her again. He could almost imagine she blinked, that the frame flickered with movement, that she might step out if he only wished hard enough. But then the sun dipped lower, and her eyes dulled into paper once more. He considered throwing it away. He even reached for the trash bin, the edge of the photo trembling between his fingers. But he stopped. Instead, he placed it in a drawer, not hidden, not displayed, just kept, somewhere in between forgetting and remembering. Because ghosts are meant to be exorcised, they're meant to be carried gently, like glass, sharp, fragile, necessary. The drawer slid shut with a soft click. In the quiet that followed, he thought he could hear something faint. Not quite her voice, but maybe the echo of a memory, still alive enough to answer when called. And for a long time after, he sat there, in that thin border between grief and acceptance, watching the last light fade, wondering whether the past ever truly stops breathing. That is the end of this story. Thank you for listening, and I hope you will stop by again to listen to another one. Take care.